The Three Little Birds podcast by Amy.
Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Three Little Birds podcast. I'm Amy. It is such a pleasure to have you with me. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you. And today I thought we could talk about some fun ways to test our intuition. There are some things that I share during my Reiki courses that my students love, and some people have heard of them before and some haven't. So I thought I'd share a few of them now. And it ties in really nicely with the last episode where we talked about intuition and different ways we can sort of tap in. These are more about using our body to confirm intuitive hunches, let's say. So you could call it kinesiology, muscle testing. There's lots of different names for it. But our body holds a lot of innate wisdom. And these are tools that we can use to tap in to that wisdom. So this one, I call it the sway test. Essentially, you stand with your feet flat on the floor, barefoot or in flat shoes, with your feet hip width apart, and ask your body to show you a yes. You can do it right now if you want to, if you're in a space where no one will think you're weird if you start standing up and swaying. So you stand up, you relax, and you ask your body to show you a yes and then show you a no. And generally, not for everybody, generally you will find that you lean slightly forwards, tilt forwards for a yes, and slightly backwards for a no. Some people might swing left or right or in a circular motion. Usually it's clockwise for a yes and anti-clockwise for a no. Everyone is different. Ask your body. Mine is I sway forwards for a yes and backwards for a no. And it might be subtle at first, but just notice. So just notice. So first of all, we're finding out what is a yes, what is a no. Now we're going to test it with statements. So for me, I would say my name is Amy, which it is. And so when I say my name is Amy, my body sways forwards. And when I say my name is Bob, my body sways backwards. So yes is the forwards and no is the backwards. And what's fun about this is that you can ask anything. I mean, it has to be a yes-no question in this case, right? But once you know your forwards and backwards, you could ask your intuition, ask your bodily wisdom to share the answer for you. So it might be you have a hunch that you should give up sugar. And so the question might be, should I give up sugar? You might get a yes, you might get a no. You might say, sugar is good for me, and see if you get a yes or a no. You might say, I'm happy in my job, and see if you get a yes or a no. You might say, there are more opportunities out there for me. See if you get a yes or a no. There's so much you can do with this. It's really good fun. And it's a really interesting way of learning to trust your body and also your intuition. So the sway test is a really fun one. There's another one. You've probably seen pendulum divining, is one way you could call it. So using a pendulum. So a pendulum essentially is a small crystal or a ring on a chain. You hold the chain between your index finger and thumb and allow it to just hang from your hand. And then you ask a question with a known truth, like, my name is Amy. Or, is my name Amy? And then you watch the movement. So it might be clockwise, anti-clockwise. It might be backwards and forwards and then left and right. You're using this direction, these questions, to establish what your yes and your no is. And then you can use it pretty much like the sway test. So you might start with things like, the earth is round, or is the earth round? See if you get a yes, see what movement you get, and then that will be your yes. And then the earth is flat, see what movement you get, and that will be your no, assuming you believe the earth is round, of course. So pendulum divining is quite interesting as well. And you can use either of those. Obviously, the sway test, all you need is your own body. The pendulum, you're going to need a chain with an item hanging from the bottom. So they're two really fun ones. You could also do the finger lock. So this is where you close together your left index finger and thumb. So you sort of create an OK sign, right, with your index finger and thumb pressed together. And then you loop your right index finger and thumb through that. So it's like you're making two OK signs and they're linked together like a chain. And then you can do a similar test. So you can ask a factual question. So again, you could use your name. So my name is Amy, and try and pull your fingers apart, and they should hold. And then my name is Bob, and pull your fingers apart. And in theory, they loosen, and you can pull them apart. So the pressure holds with a yes, and releases for a no. I personally find the sway test most effective for me, but everyone has their own thing. So it's fun to try different things. And it's just another way of tuning into that bodily wisdom. Another way you can test is, and usually this is a bit easier when you do it on somebody else, is to hold your arm, or they hold their arm, assuming you've got somebody else with you, out at a right angle. So you've got your palm facing down and your arm straight out at shoulder length, 90 degrees from your body. And you could ask them questions. So, is your name Bob? Assuming it's not Bob, it's Sarah. The hand would not hold firm. Right? So you would be able to push their arm downwards. Is your name Sarah? In this case, their name is Sarah. Their arm would hold firm when you push down on it. So that's another fun way of asking your bodily wisdom, your intuition, for answers. And you can ask all sorts of questions, and you can go deep or you can stay light and fun. It's just an interesting way of realizing that you hold a lot of wisdom in you. There is a lot of wisdom in you, and you have access to a lot of wisdom, and you can trust yourself. And it's a really lovely exercise to start tuning in to your own intuition, to your own wisdom, and maybe you could use it as a guide. So there's some fun ways that we can test our body's wisdom and see what answers we get. We're not using it for fortune telling. I mean, obviously it's your body. You can do whatever you want. Treat your body with kindness and love. Some people use this to find out whether certain foods or supplements are, in inverted commas, good or bad for their bodies. You might ask for guidance when making a certain decision. It's great for energetic or psychological detective work, if you want to call it that, to solve your own mysteries. So you might try the sway test. You might try interlocking your fingers, see if you can pull them apart. You might try using a pendulum. You might try the arm resistance test, where you or somebody else has their hand outstretched at a right angle to your body, where a yes means you can hold your arm firmly and a no means that it gives way. And just play with it, right? Just play with it. I really like it for tuning into my intuition, and it makes it easier to get a straight answer and an honest truth. We're tapping into our subconscious responses, our body's wisdom, our intuition. You could call it energy testing, you could call it self-muscle testing, you could call it applied kinesiology. I encourage you to try it because it's quite fun. This is a short podcast. I'd recorded it as an add-on to the previous podcast where we talked about intuition. For all of these, you want to first of all calibrate. So you want to establish your baseline, state your name, check the response, and then state your name as something else. So if your name is Amy, my name is Amy, and that should be your yes response. Then you follow with a statement, my name is Bob or Bill or Brian or something different that is not your name, and that's your no response. See how your body reacts to the true and the false statements. Try not to skew the outcome, right? You're not purposely leaning or swaying in one direction or another. And remember that this is not a scientifically validated diagnostic tool for medical conditions, okay? So it's a fun thing that I suggest you try if you'd like to have some practice to tune in to your intuition or your body's subconscious responses, your body's wisdom. It's a fun thing to use if you're umming and erring over a decision and you want to tune into your own wisdom and see what's underneath. It's quite a fun thing to do, but we're not doing it to diagnose illness or anything like that. For any health concerns, of course, you go to your doctor. So it's a short one today. I thought you might enjoy something a little bit more practical. I hope you have fun. Let me know what you find out if you want to share it. My email address is amy@threelittlebirdsofficial.com. And if you'd like to join a community of like-minded women who are interested in personal development and being real and supporting each other and learning and growing and healing and having fun, you are very welcome to join us in the Safe Space, which is my online women's community. You can find all of the information on my website. It's threelittlebirdsofficial.com. And if you're interested in other services that I offer, one-to-one Reiki sessions, Reiki courses, sound baths, sound healing, and life coaching. So there's a lot of opportunity to work with me if that's of interest to you. And you can find all of that information on my website. I hope you have fun doing the sway test or using a pendulum or interlocking your fingers or trying the arm resistance test. I hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.